Greetings and God bless. I was thinking about, I've been doing research about relocation and looking at places that fit my requirements and my ideals and, what won't work, that are deal breakers for me. And, I've been taking a break from watching the news, so I don't really know what's going on. uh, as of the past few days, um, that much. A couple friends have been pointing out some very extraordinary events, and I haven't looked into it. And so when I started looking at new places to relocate to, I've been looking seriously for probably the past few weeks, maybe a month, maybe less. And at first, I was like, okay, worrying about tsunamis and hurricanes and nuclear attacks, and and then like that really kind of just limited a lot. Uh, and then I was like, well, and I was like avoiding, uh, like places that had riots. And things like that. So I was avoiding like these, um, just where there's weird stuff going on. Best to my knowledge. Um, and and then I was like, well, let's look at those cities that I'm familiar with where I've lived. Let's look at those. And and then I started thinking about, well, you know, if there is, let's say, a nuclear target or whatever, if you're right there, zzz, like like you don't have to worry about running to the hills, right? I mean, and the thing is, though, I'm like, of course, I don't want to put myself in you know, a nuclear target or whatever, but you never know. You never know what's going to happen. It could be some weird something that we couldn't even imagine. And it could be in the remote areas, right? And so I just wanted to put that out there that maybe you're trying to be responsible, maybe you're thinking about relocating, and so you're like, okay, the most remote place possible. Um, and like I'm living in a fairly, for me, it's a fairly remote, very demanding location the past like year and a half or so. And I've got to say, it reduces the quality of your life. It's very depressing, when it's very demoralizing if you're in a remote location with like really bad weather and where the literally the natives hate your guts and are, burdening, just think you're supposed to take care of them. Um, so I just want to put that out there. Like, if you do like a bustling city with a lively arts scene or nightlife or um, beard trimming contests or something like that, if you have like your thing and it brings you joy, and you're thinking of moving, do the, I would consider that as part of your priority. What I'm trying to do is, instead of like, I'm out in the middle of nowhere, like I'm trying to kind of, actually, I'm kind of just letting go of the worst case scenario thing, because I kept on going in circles. And the thing is, I'm not a millionaire, so I have to work with a budget. And as I talk in my videos, it's like there's this weird, or it's not weird, it's been going on a long time, where there's like a stranglehold of decent housing that's affordable. Like everybody's wanting you to pay three times their mortgage, and their property taxes. Like if you're moving in with people sharing a space. And I'm sorry, but if you're moving in to share a space, it should be like, because we're saving money, not because I'm paying your rent, or your mortgage or whatever. So anyways, that's a challenge, is like relocating and being able to even pay for things. Um, so I just want to put that idea out there that um, maybe we want to have a perfect, most ideal relocation. However, if you being really strict is going to really demoralize and depress you, I'm telling you from personal experience, I had no idea how bad things could get, and it affects your health. It affects like I was a very active person, and I mean for me, for my limited chronic Lyme disease, but I would go outside for a walk for like 15-20 minutes every day, and now I'm like it's too much of a hassle of dealing with aggressive panhandlers and dealing with angry drivers who are dangerous and reckless, even on the driveway, even downtown, even going down an alley where a lot of people are walking and people are just like they're three sheets to the wind or something. And then the rough weather, like here, where I am in Rapid, it's like 60-mile-an-hour winds, and unless you've really been in it, you think, oh well, wind, no big deal. No, this is like having somebody beat you about the head and shoulders for the entire time that you're outside. So if you're going for a walk for 15-20 minutes, you have been beaten around the head and shoulders by wind. And this happened to me, a few days ago, and I'm like, I can't even see straight. Like, I can't even process what's in front of me when I got in, because I'm like, I had a mild concussion or something, and it's funny, but uh, like this is a deal breaker for me. I can't handle it when the wind is beating me up. The native people are stalking me for money, and the drivers are won't allow me to cross the street or cross a crosswalk, or yeah, cross the driveway when I'm on the sidewalk. I mean, it's just, yeah. So I just want to throw those things in there. And of course, we can never predict and plan for every contingency. We won't know every weird thing. Like maybe there's cockroaches where you live, or where you move to, or mice, or whatever. Some weird noise mechanism outside the window. And that's a tough situation, and that definitely causes me to hesitate tremendously, because it seems like I've lived in a lot of places, but it seems like now, and I'm paying a little bit more now, but it seems like there's a lot more noise pollution that's just nobody cares about, and there's a lot more like toxic stuff. Because then like I shared rooms, and lived in urban centers all my life, and I do not remember like really strong smells, really strong chemicals, other than, let's say, somebody was cleaning a large area or something like that. But now it seems like people are using tons of chemicals all the time, and there's a lot of ambient noise, and it's a really, like, there's just, it seems like mechanisms either aren't being maintained now, or like what was released in the past, that like it was dampered, it was made so it wouldn't be so loud. And like now it seems, I wonder if mechanisms are just so disruptive of sound, and nobody cares, and there's no regulations because cities aren't taking care of their population. It seems to me like cities, like for instance, Rapid is the most hostile city for a pedestrian. Like they're like, you should just buy a home and buy a car and just stay there, unless you're a motorcyclist here for Sturgis, then let's try to hustle as much money off of you as possible. And if you're a tourist, at the places, waiters are gonna assume that all the money that is in your change, oh, you probably want to give it to them in a tip. I've had this happen time and time again where I'm paying like a $20 meal with a $50 bill, and they're like, "Do you want change?" Who doesn't want $30 in change? I don't think I've ever had a server that deserved a $30 tip, and certainly not here in Rapid City. But that's I don't know if it's like everybody's like wasted or something, and they just assume, or maybe they just people feel guilty and are tipping $30. I don't know, but I mean, I lived in Missoula, Montana, and people were not the servers did not assume you wanted to leave an extravagant tip at different. I mean, and I'm talking about I've been to different restaurants where they do this, where they ask you pay something with $100 bill and the meal was $20, and do you want your change? Like, I don't know. Like, and I think because there's some people who are absent-minded and say no, and these students are just like, or whoever they are that's waitressing or waitering, I guess they it's like this kind of soft kind of theft of customers. It seems to me, in my opinion, if somebody is so absent-minded, they say no, I don't want. I mean, who doesn't want their change back? So, anyways, that was one of the kind of surprises that I had when I moved back to South Dakota, because I just assumed people from South Dakota were honest and thoughtful of their fellow man or whatever. And it's just this is 2022, and it's a. I mean, I think like part of my problem with a lot of cities is it's such a struggle to survive, because costs are inflated, and you don't get value for the inflated cost you're getting of, let's say, the home or the whatever, the car or the school or whatever. And yet people are still pushing for, they're like, well, I'm gonna, I've got to pay off this $250,000 home or whatever. And I think if people got value, if they got quality of life value from their city, from their job, from their churches, or whatever it is that's in their life, which I think the city is infrastructure for. That's what a city is for. A city isn't there to be a vampire parasite on the people who own property, but that's what it's become. And I think that's what I think has happened here in Rapid. Uh, like like I lived in Missoula, which has a less than 1% vacancy rate, and I think Rapid is actually pretty comparable to that. I do not know where people are finding rentals. I do know that there's a lot of people doing Airbnb for Sturgis, and I think that's a bad thing. I think that's one of the bad influences of Rapid is the greed that landlords have here, and also just that, like, a motorcycle rally, like, I don't think it's the most um, benevolent. It's like Burning Man for 60 and 70-year-olds. That's what the vibe I get. And just like there's straight edge people who are clean and sober, probably going to Burning Man. There are those there, I know, at Sturgis, but I think overall, I don't think it really blesses Rapid City. So those are my thoughts, though. If you're doing a relocation, instead of being so strict, maybe consider, um, you know, like forget that the world is falling apart, and forget that there might be famines and riots and starving people, and maybe consider places that, in the meantime, that maybe would bring you joy. Um, so those are my thoughts. I don't know if that's really the best way to go, but this is just a thought I had, and I think there might be something to it. Just speaking from I'm in a, kind of like a remote-ish part of America. I got to say it's really rough. It's not working well for me. So that's why I wanted to put that out there in case it might help somebody else that is considering, really putting them, getting stranded somewhere. And I'm just trying to tell you, maybe stranding yourself somewhere is not a good idea, because I'm having to claw myself out of a deep dark hole, and also just like if you strand yourself somewhere that's kind of like hard place to leave, like South Dakota has just like, it's like, yeah, I had to take a plane from North Dakota to get here, and yeah, just like trying to coordinate Greyhound, Amtrak, airplanes, to try to go to other locations. It's a bit of a challenge. So those are my thoughts, and thank you for listening. God bless.